Welcome to today's continuation of 2YMM, 2 Years of Mario Maker, the project celebrating the second anniversary of the original Mario Maker that was largely released in late 2017. We are currently through 24 out of 50 levels, well, 23 plus one that had gone missing. And we're going to continue today with number 25. The level codes and the descriptions are on the linked website, at least for now. I understand that the address may be in for a change at some point when the current domain expires, but for now the link will work. And for future records, we'll somehow find a way to point you to the replacement. Okay, so this is going to be the first level that's going to be up today, number 25, War Woman by Mr. Yarrow. Now, Mr. Yarrow, I believe, mysteriously disappeared in Maker 2 when they hid the questioning mushrooms, but has some ambiguous relation to Ms. Yarrow, creator of Cloud Killer in 5YMM, as well as the Radiohead music level in 6YMM. However, Mr. Yarrow here in 2YMM created War Woman and accompanied it with the following description. What is this? Some kind of weird art level? Let's see, so there's a girl locked out of her house, 3 guardian creatures. Maybe there was a war, who knows? You go to a shrine, get a key. This wiggler in a cloud follows you around, which I guess is a demon or something. You go back to the beginning, bopping your demon and killing the guardian things along the way, not sure why. No idea what happened after unlocking the door. You're on your own there. Well, we'll see how much of that synopsis we actually remember when we play through this thing and try to reassemble the plot from first principles and perhaps some of the amiibo costumes as well. Let's see what this is all about. Okay, so we're going to be very well dressed this morning. And we see that there is a key door, as well as a Podoboo that we will eventually send somewhere interesting. Let's see. Nothing coming out of the blaster right now. I believe that's because it's spawning the mystery mushroom, and that is correct. And I guess positionally I should be thinking about finding some way to manipulate how the fire is going. And, well, there are only going to be a few ways to do this. Well, we can slip through here, yeah. I guess this is just a trap, actually. We just come through here, pop this, and that opens our way through. And Captain Redbeard, that's pretty much been the sentiment throughout our coverage of Mario Maker 1. Everybody seems to miss the costume. Notice how the main world and the subworld are kind of visually connected to each other, as if they were one continuous space. This looks like a robot or mecha of some sort. We can't do much with it right now, but it looks like there is a pink coin that is buried underneath the blaster, so we'll keep that in mind. Okay, here we can pop the bomb and that opens up to the left. No, we can't because we don't have SMB2. And it's interesting, the height of this sprite makes it look like it's kind of a tile and a half high. But we are, of course, only occupying one tile. Given that that's what amiibo costumes do, let's pick up another costume to replace that one. And yeah, not about to pluck this cloud or anything. Very tempting to try. Anyway, that's going to be another bomb. I guess we will find out about some of this later when we backtrack, because eventually there will be that key door at the very start that we need to deal with, as well as the coins that we need to, whoops, unlock over here. So I'm guessing that there will be something sending you through all of this once more. And that will make everything interesting. Okay, back into the main world. We'll eventually lose track, I'm sure. Donut block up top. A coin under the blaster once again. This one can be touched. I wonder if we could have obtained the previous one, but as you can see, no way back right now, at least. So possibly I missed something when it comes to that first coin. Okay, here we can drop in eventually. Anyway. Notice the sort of musical element to this as well. Okay, so this is something else entirely. Looks vaguely like some kind of animal on four legs, four stilty legs. But I'm not quite sure I can make out what. So, whoops, let's not die down below. And we're not about to make any of those jumps either, so let's get over here. Seems like a bit of a, not quite a labyrinth, but some kind of interesting design on the right side here. Alright, back we go. There will eventually maybe be some kind of P-switch mechanism that is going to unblock a lot of these bricks and perhaps permit a whole bunch of things to spawn that will maybe reveal a lot more of what's going on here and lead to some major state change. We can go over here. Oh, there was a coin down there in a lower level that I missed. Beside the blaster at the bottom of that staircase. I don't know if that's obtainable for me now. It might not be, because I have no way to go back. Oh, we'll keep that in mind in case we want to replace... Whoops. Or we can do that. I was about to say in case we replay this for the secret route, but instead we will just take an absolutely trivial and avoidable death. Not on purpose, but it worked out well enough, I suppose. So yeah, you can kind of see the track up top, and I guess that's what the audio setup is located, but where it is located, rather. And yeah, so nothing that we can do here yet until we find a way to blow up the bomb, which we currently don't have the means to do. So instead, it really does look like it's going to be something that's P-switch controlled, P-switch plus a lot of spawn blocking. That is eventually going to transform all of this on the way back, as we had surmised earlier. So, we have not seen the last of some of these locations. Presumably, we get dropped in somehow. Given that right now I don't see any visible doors, but on the other hand, we have a few limits to how high we can scroll the camera, given that it's Maker 1 camera logic that we're dealing with here. So it's possible there is some drop location high up. Or actually, no, just pipe stacking, in fact. Eventually, maybe pipe stacking can spit me out right to left. Just depending on how the pipes are doubled up, there might be some trickery going on with that. So let's come back here. Let's do this part again. Pop that, and go back. Okay, so here is the staircase once again, where I did have access, I think, to a coin that is tucked right by the blaster. That I could have seen much earlier, but we missed it. None of that's going to be reachable, so let's just proceed down here and let's not take the death this time. Opening up a gate, room by room. And I suppose the blue skulls here in the ice are meant to make that look like a bit of a pond. So you have this tree, perhaps, in the pond. Another coin that's buried underneath the blaster, as you can see. Okay, some short hops here and there. And we will be out of here in no time. Possibly you even come out of the key door at the very beginning of the level rather than working your way back through it, and you do everything here left or right once again. That would make a lot more sense, in fact. That you'd have to comb over the entire level a second time, but starting with the key door and starting with perhaps some kind of P-switch. It does mean there are some potential state differences between starting from scratch and starting from a checkpoint if one exists, because of some of the bricks that we have broken on the first pass. Anyway, here is something that looks reasonably central, and it is indeed a checkpoint, as well as a key, as well as this thing, which... Okay, I was just wondering about that brick. I was going to take this and reverse through it just fine. And I guess we can just platform across the Wiggler, and use the Wiggler to go higher up than we had previously, as well as use the donut block to re-enter the pipe and go through some new and exciting sequence on the way back. Ah, the pipes are going to be matched. Interesting use of this block above the donut here, in fact. Oh, I see. It's a block on a track, I suppose, that gets... I'm just wondering how this contraption is working here with the track that prevents you from obtaining the donut block, and why we didn't activate it previously. Ah, yes, because it's a vine block, and it would have been destroyed somehow at start. I'm just sort of wondering about that setup. Or it looks like it was on the track anyway, so... Anyway, let's move up. I wonder if we can go to the top right here. Luca, welcome. I think that's probably out of reach. Yeah, looks like it was designed to be out of reach. Also, there's a coin down here. We'll likely have timeout issues anyway, going into the first checkpoint or so. I am, of course, quite curious about whether we can go up top, but it seems to be the same height as what we experienced over here, so... Yeah, the cloud positioning does mean that I can't really get consecutive bounces. A single bounce will have to do it. Yep, that's not going to go, so we'll just continue to the donut block and assume that we can't just skip a section. Luca, I don't know which character this is, to be honest. I don't recognize all of the amiibo costumes because there were so many crossovers, especially things that were, you know, kind of related to collaborations on Japanese television and such that I would have no clue about. So I actually don't know. Yeah, it's not a first-party Nintendo character as far as I'm aware. Whoops. But it's so far the only costume that we have been working with in this level. I keep missing that jump. Just undershooting that. Come on. Alright, we need to fix this. I am going to time out anyway, I think, but it just means we'll have to deal with it again, even if we do succeed. Let's let the Wiggler come over and maybe kind of stop on its way over as it reverses. No, because my camera is pushing it due to the lack of scroll lock, which would not apply here anyway, just given the positioning of the pipe, so... Yeah, you kind of need to lead it a bit. That's okay, we'll get another amiibo. Another mystery mushroom. Yeah, you see, the block is kind of placed here initially with the vine, and... So I wonder if it is something... Yeah, I'm just wondering about how this is destroyed on the way into the level. But I wasn't paying too much attention to that at the time, so who knows. Can we jump up here? I think we actually need to jump up to the vine here on the left. And then we need to hit that block from the donut block. Which will then give me fire. Excellent. That's going to give me a coin as well, which will almost have trouble with. I am about to time out, so I don't expect I'll necessarily get much further. Now this room we already know that I had gotten the coin. Okay, we need to work on our timing here. 7 seconds, I will not make it. So let's time out, let's redo the second section. And we'll see if very much will change here. Given that I will lose the progress on certain bricks that I would have destroyed the first time around. Oops. That was a bad idea. Let's just go back. Yeah, we'll just hop until we find an opportune moment. And here we go. Let's not forget the coins on the way over. And wait for this guy, and yeah, kind of have to anticipate it almost. Yeah. Right idea, bad positioning. There we go. Much smoother than the last time around. Yeah, all the bricks that we destroyed the first time we can just destroy again here. I don't think there's any kind of meaningful spawn blocking that affects. I am totally going to die too. The fire... That wasn't deliberate, but somehow I just had a feeling. Nope. This, I think, had about a 9% clear rate going in because it is a fairly gentle level. We're, of course, going to make a debacle of it. And, okay, here we go. Coin once again. Or what will eventually be a second key. Yeah, interesting to make some of the coins obtainable on the first pass, but not all. I don't believe anything is only obtainable in the first pass, though. But some things are definitely not available until the second time through, going right to left. Interesting that all of these pipes do remain in that two-way, in that there isn't any pipe stacking trickery that I've noticed yet, at least thus far. Okay, here's some fire. Let's get the costume before we have any issues. Okay, 4 coins, plenty of time to spare. Let's see what's over here. Yeah, this will allow me to bounce up. We already have the coin in this room, so we won't worry too much about that. And this is where we hit timeout last time due to poor planning, so... Let's go back over here and think about the coin in this room, which I believe is going to be up high. I think we'll have to wrap around using some vines, especially with this location that I had previously broken. Okay. And we'll just punch this creature. If these are the hind legs, we just punch this thing in the crotch. That seems like something that this creature would not be happy with. Like if this is its rump over here. Okay. Anyway. 5 coins, and we're almost back to start. Interesting. Whoops. Let's bounce up this way. Looks like we'll need to continue bouncing over. Ah, yes, so I had previously obtained a coin in this room as well, so... because after that, it's just the entry room, and then that accounts for the remaining pink coin, I believe. I wonder what that blaster was the first time, actually. Maybe there is some additional state switch that's going to take us over. Anyway, expecting one more pink coin at this point. Also notice that this bomb down here is still inaccessible so far as I know. At this stage, I really do expect that there is going to be some kind of additional state switch coming. Some other manipulation of everything that's going on here. Now this is going to be donut block and pop. Ah yes, no, it's not. It's just going to be the bombs doing their thing. And chaining into each other. I suppose we do need to open up... Ah, no we don't. That's just going to be fire. Now why would we want to scroll back here? Because that brick that has not been destroyed is going to give me something... Probably Vine. Vine is going to allow me to ignite everything on the left, so... Get a little micro puzzle here. We can actually mind our height. Come on. There we go. After much effort, we will grab point number 6. We'll grab it safely. And that takes us back to the entrance. I don't think anything else can be manipulated here, but given that this guy is spawning, let's see then. Well, we just go through the door then. I guess this is just for flavor mostly. I don't think he's doing anything functional for me here, although this little bridge here is very curious. Okay. It looks like we're in some kind of head. Maybe. But anyway, here's an additional coin. That allows me to go down here. This is some kind of grave. Something is dead. Something is quite sincerely dead. We're not going to come through here yet, because I want to check the key door before we take key death from the timer or something silly like that. And here it is, 2 YMM with Roman 2. And we can light some candles. Okay, up we go. Oh, didn't expect that. Did we miss something then? Or There's nothing else obtainable. I guess the second checkpoint there is just to match the first one aesthetically. We never touched that, so... Hope I didn't miss anything at the end there just by leaping onto the flag like that. We can always take a look at the opening banner. And thank you, Ms. Yarrow, for the GG. The game audio seems to be in low quality. Luca, does it sound okay now? Because previously there was some custom audio that was going on, I believe. So let me know if the audio is sounding glitchy or anything like that. Because I think that was just the sound that is supposed to happen when that character touches the flag. Has low quality, not glitchy. Interesting. There's a secret costume, but you can't remember how to get it. Yeah. Because I'm looking at this layout here, and I guess everything in the main world would... Because of the pipe swapping, kind of match. I'm just thinking about the pipe and door traversal here in terms of how the rooms between the main world and the subworld section are flipped with each other. But yeah, I guess in the subworld we didn't actually see the gold card at the very end because of the fact that it was built in a subworld. Yeah, I visited every area. There is no twice. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's what I understood, because I could tell my first pass through, given that some of the bricks I destroyed stayed destroyed. Anyway, thank you for that. Glad to get this one done as we proceed to the list that we have today. The next level in the set is going to be Cannonbone Bake by Fattest Henrys. Let's pull that up. Okay, so Cannonbone Bake, the description is rather brief. It says, "Welcome to the Bone Zone. Enjoy your stay, and don't get scared, or you'll miss some of those tight jumps." So, it's going to be just a pure platformer, I suppose, after having just played a story level. The description is short, but the maker bio is actually really, really long. I'm not going to read it, but I just noticed that from combing the website that the brevity of the description is something that's definitely made up for further down the page. Anyway, let's take a look. And anyway, Luca, do let me know if there is still any kind of audio issue. I believe that what you were hearing was probably just the intended audio in the previous level, so... But I don't know that for sure, so... Always good to have people report when there are potentially some problems. Whoops. I have to watch the ground block there and go through the middle. Okay, we should be back in service now. Sorry about the long interruption. I had to do a little bit of patch up here and there while we were still technically live. But do let me know if things are working now from an audio and video perspective. And we'll see if we can get back to actually playing through the level. Yeah, that was a needless death, just kind of fixing a few things here with my setup while I play. Not really wise, but here we go. Whoops. And yeah, Luke always appreciates you pointing out stuff like that. Because, you know, if we have a level later on that's a little more audio dependent, I do want to give that the best presentation possible, and indeed, even the previous level had a lot of custom audio in it. But yeah, when I'm on Switch, usually when we have some glitchiness with the audio, it's pretty easy to just do a quick suspend and resume on the system. With the Wii U, not so much, and that wasn't a problem anyway. I actually had to reset my capture card entirely and not crash anything while I was doing it. Oh hey, didn't even realize there was that key there. Now we know about it accidentally. So let's see if we can get out of here with that key, and presumably I'll have to keep it through the next section in order to get whatever secret lies beyond. Like I've been saying, I don't know necessarily that we'll be doing that depending on how easy it is to one-shot the next section. We've been mostly pretty good about secrets so far. We only started missing some on 2YMM in the last stream. Yeah, key here, we need to get out a little faster, but there is plenty of room to head up towards it. Okay. Positioning's not quite right there. I am staying a little too long to grab that key. Yeah, but I am curious about it, so we'll try for it a few times. Just pretend the other had original audio from that time? Yes, exactly. Anyway, have a checkpoint check and we'll lose the key immediately. And that's okay, like I said, we'll study the section first, try to beat it, and then we'll get a sense of whether trying for the key and the key door exit is something that we will bother with. Anyway, nice long skull ride here. Not too bad, actually. Yeah, I guess you need to do the whole level in one shot, though. Which can be done. The reading here is pretty blind-friendly, as you can see. I just needed to drop towards the dry bones, on top of the cannonball, and then over to the skull. Terminator, welcome. Okay, let's drop on this guy. Same idea here as before. Drop onto the bones down below, onto the cannonball, and then we try to make that jump. Which I thought was going to be troublesome as soon as I made that landing, just because my positioning was really not ideal. Anyway, down we go. And yeah, that's it, and that's where the key door is located. And I assume that's on the other side of the bonus, you come back out that pipe that's at the very end. Okay, we got through this quickly enough that I don't mind trying it a little bit for the one-shot. We'll see if we can do it. Because the blind read was actually pretty cooperative here. Terminator, have I watched any episodes of Rick and Morty? Admittedly, no. I've just seen some clips. Particularly when you told me about Bird Person. Anyway, let's try to go for the key bonus this time. I'll make a few attempts at it. I don't know that I'll be very, very thorough. But for something in the 2% range, this went really quite well. Very generous spacing for the most part. We need to leave that jump a little bit earlier. Yeah, the height of your bounces can alter your positioning relative to the cannonballs somewhat, but luckily everything still works on schedule, as far as I can tell. That required a shorter bounce, so some things you do kind of need to adjust to on the fly if your positioning or your jump heights are a little bit off. So we will hopefully not run into too much of that trouble in the second and third sections when we get back there. No. Oddly enough, it looked like we probably could have gone directly over to that next cannonball, but just need to control that better all around. It's interesting to see that the levels that are more pure platforming are the ones that are kind of least specific to Maker 1, often. And that a lot of this can be remade straight up in Maker 2. Pretty much all of this level, in fact. At least as far as I can tell. No, I needed to go up to the platform. Big cannonball up to the platform and preserve the remaining elements there for later. It had been long enough, I kind of mixed up what was going on. Also, it wasn't really something I'd thought about previously. That zone didn't really take a lot of thinking when it came to solving what to do, so... This section I did one shot last time. Let's see if we can replicate that success. Up we go. Netcat, yes indeed, let's freaking go. We had a major technical interruption just before this level, just as we were getting started. But yeah, big cannonball up to the top. Hopefully that has been sorted out. Kind of choking in that section all of a sudden. Anyway, short bounce over there, that will solve that problem. No issues here previously, but let's not be too complacent. perfect timing. But yeah, for those just coming in, we have beaten this one already. I'm just going for the secret exit that requires you to one-shot the whole level, which is okay by me. I think it's quite doable from everything I've seen. Yeah, that's going to be pretty cooperative. I don't think we'll do the world record, but too many eyes on this previously. And because the secret requires going through the door and presumably the alternative ending pipe, you've got to be kidding. That positioning didn't work out at all that time. I think I needed to do maybe a high bounce there that I did as a low bounce that time. It seemed like that positioning was just completely dead. I didn't see a way out of that. And I don't see what I could have done differently, so maybe there was some kind of spawn inconsistency there with my positioning. No, it couldn't be, because it is an auto-scroll. It shouldn't be any kind of variance. I think it is just some discrepancy in my jump height there at the very end in terms of how quickly I was going through that section. Well, we almost nailed it in pretty short order. Anyway, let's head back over here. Yeah, everything here is pretty manageable. Okay. Over we go. And this has been going pretty smoothly recently. Yeah, it seemed like at the very end I just missed my window of opportunity. Once we were getting into that final section where the goal was right up ahead. As I was leaving the final skull platforms, in fact. That was where I needed to cut some time. Now we're just choking. Very typical. After coming so close. Okay, let's try it again. Now we're really choking on the easy stuff. That's okay, just need to get some of that out of my system. Get this back in order. And, wow, did I just bump my head there? Yes, I did. Yeah, everything here is quite manageable, but there is a lot that can go wrong if you're not attentive. But there's a lot of room for error in most cases when it comes to the jumps. the most part, I don't really have to actively think about the timing. Since, yeah, everything's auto-scroll, everything is going to be reliably controlled. Okay, now let's not have any reading errors. Over here. In the bio, the maker likes a low ceiling. Yeah, I only skimmed through the bio because it was much longer than the actual course description. Okay, let's make this jump. That one always worries me a little bit. I needed to get lower down on a skull so I could get on that red cannonball right away. I was too high up on a skull and too far to the left on the way down. That was the issue. On that skull raft, I need to be further to the right as it descends, because otherwise I can't catch up to that red cannonball as soon as I would like to. Okay, so that's precisely the problem that we're dealing with. Yeah, because I was kind of on the left half of that later skull raft, and that was not a good position to be in at all. So. Okay. Yeah, because here the left side works just fine. Terminator, you think it would be cool if I played SMP1 on stream, like the original SMP1? Oh, I don't know. There's not much that I can add to it as a player. I suppose if you just wanted me to commentate on the entire game, then yeah. Whoa, okay. That positioning was a little bit rough. I've always actually had a lot of trouble in World 8. The original. But it's been a while since I played through it. I did play quite a lot of SMP35, of course, but SMP35's physics are different in ways that are not the same as how Mario Maker is different. Like, all three of these games, SMP1, SMP35, and Mario Maker, have their own little quirks when it comes to the game feel, and it's a bit of a shock to go between them. You know, that the bounces don't go the same way, the scrolling obviously doesn't work the same way. And yeah, of course it wouldn't be with the warp zones and skips. I like playing the original games warpless. I actually did SMP3 sort of top to bottom warpless only for the first time, just within maybe the last 2 or 3 years. It was something I never really did originally, partly because, you know, it'd be a fairly long sit and you wouldn't have any kind of save in the game. You would just have to do it all with a system on in one continuous session. It doesn't actually take that long, but, you know, when you're younger with the original system, you're not really going to spend multiple hours in one sitting. But yeah, I'm thinking back to, I think it was maybe 2019, I want to say, that I finally did like warpless 100% in SMP3 for the first time. Definitely an item that had been on my bucket list for, well, 20-some years at that point. And yeah, I know about the infinite one-up trick, Terminator. I don't tend to execute it very well, but interestingly, in the game NES Remix on the Wii U, it teaches you a lot of the tricks in SMP1. Generally, the thing about NES Remix on Wii U is that it teaches you a lot of secrets to the old games. all over the place, and so most of the invisible block locations, all of the one-up locations, all of the warps, etc., if you don't know them. Although I think everybody knew them originally. But definitely things like the one-up trick location as well. And it was a good opportunity to practice it if you don't know the original spacing. Whoops. Luca, NES Remix and NES Remix 2 are fantastic. They also originally had a bit of Miiverse integration to them, in terms of how the leaderboards and comment cards worked. They don't have that anymore, obviously. There was also a release for 3DS that combined both games. But it's one that, for a new audience, I really wish they would port to Switch. It's one of the remaining Wii U games that I think, first of all, deserves it, and secondly, would be really easy to adapt, because it was always just a single-screen game anyway. There was no feature set in there that was specific to the dual-screen setup of the Wii U. And the thing about playing NES Remix is that it gives you a lot of respect for some of the lesser-known or lesser-regarded games on that system, by teaching you a lot about how they work. Like, I'd never really even thought about Clu Clu Land, for instance, up until that point. I never really got into games like Wrecking Crew. But then the NES Remix games basically kind of train you on that skill set in a very focused environment. And so it's a very good introduction to all of that material, if you don't already know it. NES Remix 2 gets later into the library with a lot of games that people are probably more familiar with, like Metroid, SMB3, etc. It has, on a game-to-game basis, a stronger lineup. But the first game is definitely very worthwhile. Whoa! Can't stand on the left over there. That's the first time I ran into that. Anyway. We got so close on this thing ages ago, and... Come on. I'm definitely regressing a bit. Considering what a smooth time I had with this level, as I was in the early stages of learning it, and how quickly I seem to get close to the goal with the key. That's always the stuff that takes the most time. It's not the hardest levels that take the most time, it's the levels that you feel closest to surmounting. Like the ones that are barely out of reach are the ones that are actually time-consuming. As people know from viewer levels in Maker 2, when, you know, if it's something like Precision or Kaizo stuff, I know when to drop it. If it's something that I'm actually doing well on, that's when things start taking up an hour or two of my time. Are there any Mario tournaments? Like, it depends on which Mario games you're talking about. And in what kind of category. Obviously, speedrunning is something that goes on with every game all the time. But speedrunning is completely optimized in SMB1 at this point. To the point where, you know, like they do tool-assisted research with emulators to try to find like machine-perfect runs just to shave off fractions of a second using every possible glitch that is known. And there is actually some good video history of this stuff on the YouTube channel Summoning Salt. Summoning Salt basically does video documentaries of speedrun history. And they've done a couple of really good segments that are just about specific levels in SMP1, in terms of how people tricked out the tiniest speed tricks over the course of researching the game. Now, I really loved SMP 35, and I wish it would come back, because the thing about SMP 35, while it was active, was that for once it created a way to be good at Mario that was not just about speed. That's something I talked about quite a bit back when I was playing and streaming the game. That it actually drew on your ability to be good at other aspects of the game in a way that I found really unique. Okay, let's not get squashed by the auto-scroll here. That was hidden to the left of the checkpoint. To YMM. And here's the cake. Let's not die to the cake. We have a bit of an amiibo buffer. Oh! Amiibo, amiibo. No, I missed that. I should get a second one? No, I won't. That might be my only chance. So now let's really not die to the cake. I guess we didn't find out what costume that was. Anyway, thank you for the GGs. Took much longer than it should have, considering how close I was much earlier. But that's why we've been really taking our time with 2YMM. I mean, I haven't been getting every secret, but this one, once again, felt really close to being within reach. And yeah, as you can see, even with a one-shot, when you go through the cake route, I have an additional 36 seconds on top of the world record, so we're nowhere close to that. Okay. About 20 minutes? Yeah, that's because we had the huge technical interruption earlier that I had to price in as well. We've been getting through these at a decent pace, though, I think. Apart from the one day that was really slow because we had both Tetrateryx and Barb back to back. The next level is going to be A Good Day to Dive by Iris, who some of you may also know as Deaf to Spies in Mario Maker 2. We'll pull that up in just a moment. So here's A Good Day to Dive. So this one, first of all, you have to give some credit here to Iris or Deaf to Spies for doing the pixel art of Worf from Star Trek. Because after all, today is a good day to dive. I have not played this. I have played a lot of his other levels in both Mario Maker 1 and 2. Mostly a music maker now in Mario Maker 2. But in Maker 1, there were a ton of Cape and Leaf levels, and I played most of that list. This one I think might have been remade or adapted in some fashion in Maker 2, because I think I recognize the concept. But let's read the description anyway. The description says, "It's the power-up that was so obscenely overpowered that it never appeared again in a main series Mario game. It wasn't bad enough that it lets you fly over half the levels. Someone decided that it also needed to turn you into a flying POW. Put those cape skills to good use in a puzzle level that requires surgical applications of the dive bomb technique in order to save Yoshi and escape the ghost house. Come try the level that critics are calling easily one of the 4 best puzzles involving screen scrolling in a 2YMM project. Stay for the kind of forced Star Trek reference and pixel art. I'm taking that to mean that there were a total of 4 puzzles involving screen scrolling in the 2YMM project, but I can't remember which ones so far involved screen scrolling and which ones didn't. Although we've already seen a few, I think. Anyway, let's hop in. Anyway, Leaf. Yeah, I guess this just allows you to build momentum and then go dive immediately. So no, I don't think I've seen this one, actually. I've seen this kind of setup before, but nice little training session to just kind of force the player to know to dive bomb if they don't already know it. Because obviously there is always going to be a bit of a knowledge barrier to Super Mario World cape mechanics. Anyway, here's Yoshi, he's trapped. Here's a reset door. And here are some running platforms that we will eventually be able to use once we grab a cape, which is going to be on the left side of the checkpoint. Or rather, on the left side with the checkpoint. At the checkpoint. You get the idea. Looks like these are probably things you can reverse through eventually. This, yeah, you disable the muncher, you go left. So, interestingly enough, because of the setup here, you have to exit facing the lower stack. If you exit facing the taller stack, then you get bounced back. And you don't get to dive bomb because it gives you the backwards float instead. You notice that the pipe uses the overlap with the conveyors. Yeah, we've seen a couple of levels use that already, as you know. Here, not much we can do yet. Here, I guess we just need the conveyor to build some speed, and not quite enough room there for a dive. That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting, because this basically is placed specifically high enough to prevent you from doing so until you have done another stomp first. Now, that's a very interesting way to gate that, in fact. The P-switch, of course, will also stop the conveyors. I wonder, it looks like you could potentially lock yourself here, though, by killing the muncher. No, that wouldn't be a lock. You'd just still be able to fly up. But it looks like this muncher is definitely optionally killable, which is kind of curious. Oh, maybe it's there to deflect you. Yeah, because we need to reset, and that's what the reset door is for. Because you need to stop when the blaster on the left is high. Because that's the only way that you'll get the ground stomp while the muncher on the top left is on screen. Also means that we are dealing with a bunch of Maker 1 camera logic here that won't necessarily be the same in Maker 2. We just need to find this timing here. There we go. And then we need a bit more running distance. Stomp that guy, and then now we can do the opening section. Very nice spacing. That allows you to go through the pipe. Ding dong. Okay, using a spike top as the gating mechanism. Yeah, interesting how that's set up. I suppose that's just something that was opened up by a previous spawn block, perhaps. Or is just something dependent on the positioning here when you spawn in. We need to get to dive such that we take out the munchers, but also allow the stump to... Oh, no, we don't. We just go left through this pipe. Now that we have the cape plus... I just wonder if the stump is doing anything other than destroying this. I don't think it is. Let's go through. Yeah, this gets you through immediately. This activates the P-switch. And, no, that just gets you back to where you were before, so we missed something. I think I need to trap the stump in a particular section. Let me think about this. Or have the spike top. Yeah, this is a timing challenge, actually. I want the spike top to be on top of the muncher so that it drops onto the bottom level. Once it drops onto the bottom level, it's going to crawl over here and push this pipe. That looks like a rather specific timing, though. But we'll reset and try to do it. I think that is the correct solution, though. You want to drop the spike top and keep it alive. Okay. No, that looks tricky. Also looks very specific, timing-wise. We'll have to see if we can nail it. It's a little late. I was trying to get it as the spike top was crossing over this hard block that is central, so it needs to be a little bit to the right of that. And the timing should work from there. I believe it should work that way anyway, with it sitting on top of the muncher. So let's just watch the timing very carefully, and then let's go. Nope, too late. Actually, that might not work, because previously we had successfully dropped a stump. We need to do this quickly while the spike top is still going up this side, I think. Whoops. Let's go back and try this again. You need to be pretty quick to do that. Maybe as it's starting here? Ah, I see. No, it was still kind of standing on that platform. That seems like a really finicky timing to work out. It makes me doubt that this is the solution, although it looks very much like it should be. And given that the objective should be to allow the spike top to proceed. And make its way down. Unless there's some other safe location here for it. I may be missing something really, really obvious. Because I'm thinking that if I go really fast right away, then this would get solved. But we're going to hit timeout, probably. Yeah, notice how if the spike top is crawling up the side, then it should remain alive. Let's try to do this as it's crossing over. No, it just drops straight down. I don't think this is correct. I think it's something else. We need to rethink it. It's unlikely to be something this precise. But maybe I do need to go fast. I mean, it really does look like it's the correct pattern, but we're going to time out here. Okay, let's rethink that. Yeah, I have an approximate idea of what I'm trying to get to in terms of my objective in that room, but not exactly how to execute it yet, and so we'll just have to go back and rethink. Yeah, notice how here the spike top's kind of going left. I think I need to get back into the main room somehow, and then drop in this way so you get the spike top walking. No, maybe not. Let's see. But ultimately, I do want to go in this pipe. That should be the objective here. And yeah, you can't actually reverse through here, so... no way out until you get into that main section. This is going to be timing dependent here, though, so... let's... nope. That timing was not going to work. Nope. There we go. That should not do it. Nope, too late. Nope. To go up pretty much as it's coming down. There we go. Took way too long to do that. But here the progression is very clear. Yeah, I still love this bit here with this camera spacing. Okay, back to this obstacle that we spent way too long on earlier. I actually wonder if there's something I can do to displace these objects. Probably not. So you can't actually send them anywhere. Really does feel like I'm supposed to get it to push on the left, though. I'm gonna have to rethink this room quite a bit. So we have a P-switch here. Yeah, I think I'm definitely thinking about this incorrectly. And there's something else that I need to consider. Like, we know how to stomp both munchers. I don't know, we also haven't really nailed the timing on this, though, so... maybe it is just going to be timing dependent. I just need to be much more precise about it. But we have dropped the spring through, but I've watched it carefully, and every time that I've dropped the spring through, the spike top has still kind of been traversing that one block, so... Seems awfully specific to just have that one tile spacing for it, though, rather than something like 2 tiles. Or you just leave it open over to Muncher. Yeah, no, it doesn't work. It just drops through. It's definitely something I'm not considering. Tunnel vision is what's happening here? Yeah, I would think so. Like, it's able to go up the side beside the Munchers. No invisible block over here. I mean, we could also create some kind of bridge, perhaps. Let's see. If you stomp, the stump goes down. Yeah, major tunnel vision for sure. You kill this, you allow yourself to go through to the left. Is there anything relevant to the screen to the left? No. Both Munchers die. Wait a minute, we scrolled it off. Okay. So I despawned the stump. Can I get it to respawn? I don't think so, not with my current positioning. That requires a reset. I don't think coming in here with or without the P-switch affects anything, as far as I can tell. Nor does coming through here. Well, Ding Dong tells me that this is apparently correct. Yeah, because if you kill the spike top... Like, the only thing I can think of is to safely get it down through that Muncher. But it's much too precise to do that. The track here is just for positioning it initially. It's pretty simple. Yeah, don't tell me. We'll spend some time on it. There's a bomb there initially. I was thinking that you need to pretty much get this flying instantly to get some kind of kill when the spike top is climbing up this side. Yeah, this is no different from what you would be able to do earlier. You know what? I need to hit when it's off screen. I want it to be going all the way to the right, so it's off screen when I strike. That's it. That's it. That's all it is. The whole level has been training me to think about this up to this point. And the despawn earlier should have given me a clue. That's literally all it is. We spent way too long doing that. But the despawn definitely was the clue earlier. Inadvertently. And hey, look, we stylishly made it to the checkpoint. Right at timeout, which happens unintentionally far too often. It's kind of remarkable how often it happens to me, in fact. Clutch checkpoint indeed. And welcome document. Anyway, this is going to be a locking mechanism. Combination locks galore, probably. Well, not quite, but you know, you get the idea. Opening up some way across. Well, let's see what we can do here. I think there actually is a particular order. Is there anything coming out of the pipe? Ah, yeah, no, we actually need to kill these in an order that allows the spiny shell to come all the way to the left and drop Yoshi. So we don't want to just kill these indiscriminately. We actually want a certain priority to them, such that you create like an evenly spaced surface. Hang on. So yeah, in order to do that, I have to think about my facing direction as well, I think. Like this, and then we need to kill this one extra one here, which is a problem. However, one kill here gets you a key, I think. And so we can continue progressing through the level through the key door until later we have an additional solution to this. We can go through the key door now. And yeah, maybe coming down the vines later gives me some other way to manipulate the munchers. And yeah, that's what the second key is going to be for. I see it. Okay, look at this. Some elevator action over here. Shelmet spawns over there. Interesting. The Buzzy is going to fly and allow me to ride it, probably. Or maybe squish the bomb. I need the Buzzies to be facing left. Then it should squish the bomb if I'm... no, it doesn't go high enough to do that. I need it to actually raise the muncher like this. Good. Yeah, that's how it is. And then eventually we'll have something in the right side slot. Up there. This was possibly your favorite of the 2IMM levels. I can kind of see why. It's really interesting, and in ways that, because it's so dependent on the camera positioning, would not be something that would translate as easily to Maker 2 as you would think, given that so many things are very much about camera positioning. Anyway, what's up here? Okay, that dislodges that. And then nothing comes down here. Okay, let's see here. I see. You need to send that guy down. Looks like there's a slot over here that would tuck into. Have to rethink a lot of this spike top collision logic as well. Yeah, because if you swing left there, you get a bit of a different result, as you can see with a spike top. Then, if you do that, then that blaster doesn't give you any kind of crush. What it does instead is it pops the Buzzy shell over here. But then the Buzzy is going to face right and fly right, if I'm not mistaken. So you actually needed to do something with the boo positioning, perhaps. Let's see it anyway. It's going to fly right and off screen. No, it's not. It's going to be positioned on top of the boo, and then you can do the boo ride. Very nice. Very interesting. Because that's just going to be a boo ride. In a very straightforward fashion. It seems like I should be able to whip the Buzzy Shell off at some point, though, and use it to bust through something. Maybe. It looks like I do want the Buzzy to give me a bit of height on the camera. And then I fly while that muncher is visible. Except coming down low is going to make that muncher invisible. So let's see. Oh, Feta would be nice. Yeah, there we go. You know what? No, we can just... Let me think. We can position the Buzzy just about anywhere. But I want it to give me a stomping surface that's higher up. Let's position it all the way to the right over here. Then we can freeze it because I'm facing the boo. If I'm freezing it, then we can lose like that. But I should be able to use a slot in the bottom right to drag it over further, I think. Let's... That's too tight. Much too tight. Oh no, there we go. Now, what does that do? Spike top comes around and all the way back up top. Does it give me anything? Not really. Well, I mean... This was previously available, right? So... What is the advantage to doing this? Yeah, we have to redo this, I think. Because you get a bomb crush. The bomb crush... If you reordered this, you want the bomb to be sitting at the bottom and you want it to be crushed by the blaster drop such that it blows up the bottom pipe. So we had already kind of reached a dead state there. And... Okay, so let's do it this way. Let's make sure the bottom muncher does that. No, we need to reposition the right side once again. Let's... Yeah. Trying to remember my sequence from earlier. Yeah, that's the issue, was that you have the bomb still alive down there. Yes, we killed the bomb inadvertently earlier, that's the issue. We need the bomb to be well out of range for the next POW hit, so we can't just tuck it away into this bottom corner. We need to hit probably left again. Anyway, it is going to be a timeout, but we approximately know what to do. So the bomb's going to be out of range. You position the Buzzy as we did before. You do the blaster drop onto the bomb, and then you go through the second pipe in the bottom left. That's all there is to it. Anyway, let's do this whole sequence again. Cleanly, I hope. Then, yeah. Really interesting locking mechanism. Really does look kind of like a combination lock. Or the kind of design that you would expect from a combo lock, typically. Whoops. Let's drop the shell. And as a hit, let's go for the key door. Okay, there we are. Same kind of idea as before. Nope. We needed to get the muncher going over here. Let's redo this. Hang on. Yeah, I want the right side to be off screen. We disable this, we get the muncher up here. In some ways, one doesn't really see screen scroll puzzles like this so far simply because scroll stop is so much more prevalent in Maker 2 that you don't have as many people kind of designing around the limitations of letting everything just scroll freely. And indeed, the kind of walls that you have here, although that's kind of trivially changeable, like they would functionally be scroll stop walls in Maker 2, you just have to replace them with ice blocks or some other element. Anyway, where was I? We wanted to do this. Then let's let that crawl out of the way. Then we get into this bottom slot here. And then once this comes up, I will release it and reposition it. Nope, killed the bomb. That was... I did not want to go to the bottom slot. I specifically did not. Well, let's go left. Once that is out of the way, we go right and then left. Let that thing come up. Nope, too late on the reversal. Okay. Pull this guy over. No, that was actually already correct in terms of the facing location. Let's pull him back. Leave, please. And hopefully that's enough space to work with. There we go, pop that. Blaster Drop's going to open this up. Ding dong. Now we want to release the Buzzy Shell such that I can whip it up here, I think. So we want to unblock the Buzzy by having it be off screen while we kill the Muncher on the right side. Nope, too quick about it. It needed to be just a little further out. Okay, let's see what we can do. I feel like the order there wasn't quite right. I want to have this going to the right side. I want it to be released in such a way that it is unobstructed. But then I also need it to come up. And in order to do that, I need the spike top to be able to traverse its way over. Yeah, because now I'm thinking about, like, how do I raise the Buzzy? If I release it, it's going to fly in a straight pattern. Then can I get it lifted somehow? Or... let's take a look at this bump here. These two. Maybe you can get it to get pushed, but... yeah, it's just going to go straight. I do want to ultimately get the Buzzy over here, and I would be doing that by raising it high enough such that I can whip the shell and send it over. But to do that, we're missing a step. Yeah, because small spike top is not going to carry it across. We need it to be released, but then... no, I want to drop the Muncher when it's in the middle. That's what it is. The Buzzy has to be off screen, but the big Muncher has to be in the middle. Because I want the small Buzzy to climb around the Muncher and go up. It's not going to work with the current positioning. That is what it is, though. Drop the Muncher in the slot in the middle. Get the Buzzy to climb. I feel like I really need to reposition myself, though, to do that. Like, possibly over here? No. Yeah, because it doesn't look like there's a good pattern for getting this guy to the left. And have the Muncher drop in the way that I would like. Unless we have something kind of camera dependent over here. Well, let's see. Like something based on height, perhaps. Like if you're standing here, that's still not quite high enough. We're going to run out of time. That doesn't bump it nearly high enough. You do need a spike top to climb. I think it's okay if the Muncher isn't completely covering the gap, though. We're going to run into time trouble again over here, so let's do it again. Yeah, not really going to be a good location on this pattern. Drop it in the way I want. At least not in this location here. Yeah, because by the time the Muncher comes around, the Buzzy is already quite a bit further out. We also haven't thought about how to use the sort of loading slot on the right side with that single cloud. Because that's probably relevant here. The loading slot on the right side is actually just for the small spike top. Small spike top is eventually going to go over there, and that's where it unloads the big Buzzy, and unloads it high enough that we can use it to bust through the blocks. All the hard blocks that are going towards the bumper on the right. I did this wrong. We needed to do one bounce on the right side. Hang on. Okay, now let's unlock. Okay, everything goes left. That's a hit. We go to the key. To the key door, rather. And then back to where we were. Okay, this thing here, this is the first pass. Why did we need to do both passes? I guess it is because the positioning would be relevant on the camera. In terms of resetting through this door rather than resetting by taking the loop. Ah, that might be the missing step then. That the purpose of opening up this and looping around to begin with is that we want to be dropping in this position. And that would affect the spawn timing somehow. That's what I was missing on all of the resets. No, wrong way. Hang on. Yes, I should not have been using the door reset because it was not a meaningful state change from the first time that we were in that room. Okay. Move it over, that's plenty of space. That's not plenty of space. Dump that. Okay, we've got lots of time to work with. Yeah, so when you drop in this position, I think the spawn timing is different. You see, yeah, now the muncher is in an ideal position. Nope. Now it's not. Maybe I just need to do this quickly. Let's do the loop. There we go. Yeah, you just need to do it immediately before the pattern settles out with the uneven spacing of how these elements are turning around. Shaman, please. And now we think about what I can do with a muncher bump with my head. The heartbeat was kind of telling me to do it fast. Yeah, that serves me right for not really paying attention to audio cues like that. What does the muncher bump affect here? It affects this slot. That if I can bump that whole stack. What does that accomplish? It's clearly the thing to do here. The thing it accomplishes is that it allows me to keep this alive for one stop. And then you have an even surface that allows you to get over to this key. That's a very interesting solution. I quite like that. Very cool spacing on that. Very unexpected in some ways. I would assume that maybe it's something like a spiny hat afterwards, because then you can just kind of manually lower that while disabling all of the locks on this side. Hang on. Yeah, I assume it's a spiny hat that allows you to manipulate everything here and then pop the left side as needed. Very cool idea. Okay. Yeah, checkpoint preserving the keys up to that point, just in case. And then, what do we have here? Door may or may not be a reset here, but we'll find out. What is this guy? It looks like this is going to be relevant to some kind of spike top traversal, possibly. Let's see. Yeah, eventually you want that to be within range. I really like the way this level takes a single mechanic and continuously applies it in new and unexpected ways. Yeah. It's a very dense level in terms of the variety of spacing going on here. And I like that, you know, even though the solutions are kind of intuitive, they still come as a surprise in that, like, I can't tell at a glance what the progression is going to be ahead of time. You really do need to go through the level and map it out. I feel like we couldn't actually progress in that previous room yet, so we'll just come here with 100 seconds remaining, and yeah, currently you need to get rid of this swamp by probably lowering it so you can get within the POW and P hit. The POW looks like it's just a way of killing that swamp, but it would also disable a bunch of stuff, I'm sure. We have a lower level down here as well. Let's think about a priority. You have a couple of double stacks on the left. We would eventually want to open up this spot. And possibly, yeah, have the swamp be lowered in such a fashion that eventually you can perhaps hit a block here, let's say. Yeah, you're going to hit a block here, I think. It's going to create a platform. You bounce back. You stomp while the thwomp is here to disable the thwomp and lower the blaster, and then you take care of the P-switch on the top right. Actually, there's a P-switch for me in the middle as well. So the question is, how do we raise something through here? Ah, no, it's going to be a stump drop. That's what it is. It's not going to be some kind of invisible block activated there. It's going to be a stump that we need to unload in this location. Probably that stump on the left that we see now. Yeah, so our objective is to create a platform here by unloading a stump. It's going to mean the sequence here does matter when it comes to how we're releasing everything on the left side with those double stacks on the munchers. And yeah, the key doors are just to reapply to these keys in case you get trapped on the outside, I'm sure. Yeah, we know we probably can't progress through here yet, so let's continue. So I previously did hit the cloud on the left. That releases both. And so this spike top gets tucked in and drops the stump. Yeah, because it drops the stump as it's coming down the left side. So basically we needed to do a second bounce to create a platform there, perhaps. Let's see about that. Or we needed to just release these two separately. Which would probably be something like flying on the left side and looping around. Like coming down here, perhaps, and stomping. Yeah, doing a bit of a flight loop. Coming down here, stomping this location, so we only disable this one first. That seems like a difficult flight pattern to do, but we'll see if we can manage it. Maybe turning too soon here. Not quite. Yeah, because now that stump on the left is going to just do a straight drop. I think I needed to load that as a double stump, maybe. It's going to be a bit of an ordering issue here. I'm also looking at that middle muncher that is just a muncher by itself right now and wondering if that's going to be relevant. Because that looks like it's something that is going to affect the ordering as well. Yeah, that's too high to actually meaningfully get a stomp. Wonder, actually. Let's try to raise that so we could do a proper dive on the right side. Like this. That's what it is. That is, in fact, all it is. Because now this guy's going to go up and allow me to do a stomp that lands on him. Perhaps. Oh no, he's just going to go straight up. But then that drops this muncher. Or rather, yeah, allows me to disable this guy on the left without clearing this? I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, no, we actually needed to get on top of that, such that we have a stomp that affects this on the left, but not the muncher on the bottom right. And yeah, the fact that that raised the stump for me was important, because I should have been able to stomp on it. Now this is going to go a little bit differently. It's going to do the same thing that happened originally, so. We figured out one little thing about this, though, which is how to disable the top only. We now do have a solution to that. It's just that that spike top is going to go up right away, and that's not really going to be what I'm looking for. Like, because if we stomp like this... Ah! That's good. Because now we can get on top of that stump. That's great, that solves it. Yeah, the stump drop was what I wanted. Okay, now we hit. Get the P-switch. Now why would I want to consume that? Because if I place the P-switch part way, I think I'm actually able to get on top of it like this and punch it. That wasn't quite correct. This was slightly out of range. That was interesting, though. He isn't going to give me anything else here. This is interesting, though, this idea here. Because it is still going to give me a meaningful difference in terms of some of the positioning that we see. It's just that we need something additional to do with it. Because the default stomp here also kills the muncher on the right side. Yeah, we're kind of attached to the same room that we were dealing with previously. Like, the right side here is the left side of the room that we just cleared. This is an interesting idea, because we want to kill this muncher. That's obviously the thing to do. And the way to do it is to create something that does go high enough. Probably using the conveyors and the spike top. So let's do this. We need to not kill the bomb, so we do want to go to the right side somehow. The bomb be off screen. The bomb's going to be on screen. No, actually, I like this. We had the right idea. We need to place this guy. Come on. Nope, and not pick it up. Actually, no, it's okay we kill the bomb, because the bomb respawns from the blaster, so we don't need to avoid killing it if we're just releasing a spike top. Problem is that the spike tops don't go where I want. I want, whoops, a spike top to travel over here and up the wall. And so in order to do that, we need to drop the stump on the top guy here first. Which is fine, we know how to do that. I'm going to run out of time. But we drop the stump first. Then we stomp the full set down below. Whoops, forgot the shelmet. Let's go back for that. Yeah, no, I have the solution. I have it. I understand it. Yeah, that's sort of interesting. That's the first time in a level that has required you to use the cape suspension. And once you know where you're going with this, the execution is very reliable too, which is nice. Okay. I do know how this will work. You placed a P here first to get the top disabled. Whoops, come on. It drops the stump. Now you do a stomp that allows you to send a spike top across. And then, once the spike top goes up, you're able to fly up and kill the muncher, which drops it onto the bomb. And then, I wonder if taking the bomb does anything helpful. I kind of want to. Because going through here, it looks like maybe there's something we could destroy. Let's look around. Let's look around, because I have a feeling about that. Maybe not. Let me see, because there isn't really enough time to survive with the bomb. No, it doesn't look like it disables anything here. Let's grab this. Oh, no, it's with... Take it through the pipe, yeah. Not. Hang on. Oh, we need to go through the key door, yeah, that's right. We come back here, we... Do we hot potato a bomb over here? No, we hot potato a bomb over... Here. We up throw it into the slot. Because then it allows me to do the whole muncher bumping thing with that gate. To disable it in its own order. Yep, that's how we do it. Take the bomb all the way through, and toss it. Yeah, very interesting line of thinking across multiple rooms that sort of encourages you to remember what kind of unsolved problem there was earlier to get Yoshi rescued in the central section. stick over here, this way. And I'll completely miss. But that's clearly the thing to do. That's pretty unambiguous. So let's just go back and do it. Maybe not like that. Yeah, very nice cross-level solution here. Okay, good. So now we can do the stomp that allows you to disable these in a fairly specific order. Now, what would the order be for this guy? Let me think about that. You do this, then you lower it down to 1, and then you just worry about a right side stack. So let's even out the right side stacks first. Perhaps. No, you got 4 on that. You get 3 on that, and then you just do multiple stomps over here. Yeah. Because then you can do this and even it out this way. That should get you Yoshi. Okay, there we go. And now we fly. Well, let's think about this, because Yoshi can take another spring from some other location and move it back to that location. Doesn't matter where we take it. It can be here. And then we dump it there, and then we have a flight point that has been the thing that we have been building towards the entire level. Also, it looks like this is totally a secret if we... oh, I don't know about that. Because we don't really have a way to do 2 springs here, do we? But it looks like I should keep my eye out for some kind of secret placement that uses a spring drop in a different location than what we have here. Because that's one thing I hadn't really even thought about. I kind of want to take this and think about that, because we have a little bit of time to work with here. And I have not seen anything like a cake. And there's a lot that we can traverse with Yoshi, perhaps. Yeah, that's the end of the level. It definitely looks like it. Sort of interesting that Yoshi wasn't going through that pipe earlier. It really does seem as though I have to think about flying up in this location by creating a little bit of additional space. Should work. Hang on, let's try to drop it from this side, maybe? Still a little bit out. This really looks correct, though. So. Hang on. There we go, much better. Really? Build up a bit of speed first? I don't know. Or bounce against it. Or just stack. This looks awfully suspicious. Though. Can't imagine that it's elsewhere. Unless there's a bomb spot, but I don't think I saw anything of the sort. Hang on. 30 seconds. I don't know if we'll go for it. But we have to decide pretty quickly. I strongly suspect that Yoshi is going to be something required for the cake. And that is going to be something that we're missing at this point in the level. I am going to time out, but that's okay. We know the solution's up to here. I should be able to do it. I mean, we're this far along. We may as well look for it, so. Right, let me do the unlocks first, so we just don't have to think about them. Unless, of course, the unlocks are part of this. But they can't be, because you do need to get back here with the bomb. Anyway, let's do it this way. Yeah, this solution you do know already. Yeah. Very convenient timing there, if you know what you're doing. Then we come over here. Go for the P-switch. And then, same idea here. I know. Drop that stump, and then stop this guy. And then the same idea as before. Okay. All the way back. Keeping an eye out all the while for potential cake solutions. Yeah, so this was the ordering puzzle. So we just even out the stacks. Then I did this incorrectly. I needed one more hit here on the right side. Let's do this again. Have to think about the specific order here. Yeah, let's take down all of these guys first. Actually, no, we were missing one hit on the left side. Let's do this one first. Two hits on that. And that's not really right. No. I know what it was I did. I needed to get 1 stack on that, 2 stacks on this. I got him to first try last time just by looking at it, so I think I got a bit complacent about that. Yeah, unstack the middle, even out the left side. And then, yeah. Okay. But then we can also do this here. If we want to lower everything, we want to lower this guy. Hang on, let's redo this. Yeah, you lower that one. Reduce this to 2 stacks. Ah, yes. No, I know what it is. Yeah. Here, the order doesn't matter between these 2 hits because you're lowering the middle sections twice anyway. And then you do it like this. No. I needed to stop them all. 1 second. Hang on. Let's not get confused here. Should have actually just remembered the order from when I did it previously. It's possible to soft lock yourself in this room if you use a timed bomb throw to destroy one of the blocks that aren't supposed to be destroyed. Yeah, I guess if you are here without a cape, then you have an SD lock on the left, at least. No, because you would destroy the blocks. Never mind, that's not true. That's not true. Yes, actually, no. If you whip this, carry a bomb over here, take damage on the left side, that would blow off the helmet, but you don't need to be wearing a helmet. You can optionally not wear a helmet. Come here without a helmet, come here with a cape. Lock yourself like this. If you drop a bomb, take damage. You meant the bomb's in a corridor that a shell goes through. Oh, I see, okay. But I think the thing I described, if you really go out of your way to do it, would also be a lock. But you really, really have to go out of your way to do it. And it's just an SD, so. What was I even doing here? Oh, yes. Okay. Bump this guy, lower them to 2 stacks, and then drop all 3 if I can, right? Drop all 3 by using this. Oh no, I overdid it once again. Okay, sorry, I lost track of what I was doing. I need to pay attention here. I know this is order already, I just need to do it. Yeah. And then through the middle here. Oops, come on, through the middle here, I said. And then from here to knock down all 3. Really interesting locking mechanism. Lots of possibilities. I spent way too much time on that. That's not hard. Considering I got it blind the first time. Just need to pay attention to what I'm doing. Okay, anyway, we have Yoshi at this point. We should think about that cake. Now, why can't I go through here? Is it because it's restricted to short Mario? Maybe. Hang on. Let's think about this. And welcome, Meng. So yeah, as we saw, this was the end of the level. We can place this spring elsewhere, perhaps. If there's something to match it up with. It really looks like I need enough running distance here using potentially 2 objects. Or maybe I had a wrong idea and that I should have placed something to the left rather than the right. And seen if that gave me enough cape distance. We're going to run out of time just because I spent way too long on that lock. Let's see what we can do. So, let's say we place this here instead. Interesting. It kind of springs you forward a bit. Hang on. I really think flying through the top here is going to be the idea. It just looks far too likely. Yeah, maybe if I just get a little bit of a run to build P-speed, and then I complete a run. Because if speed is the issue, I should be able to just jump it, right? That was a minor adjustment. I think that's all that's needed. But let's go back and rethink that. Anyway, all this stuff we know. Whoops. Okay. Not the best placement, but it'll work. Okay. You switch over here. Let's grab the coin. Nope. Out the back if we can.